What's up, everybody, and welcome in to another edition of the Sit Down. As always, if you enjoy this video, please make sure you hit the like button and let me know what you think of this interesting discussion in the comment section below. What did you think of Get Gotti? If you're watching us live and you're in the live chat, make sure you say hello. Let me know what you think of the show as well in the comment section. If you're new around here, you just haven't done it yet. Are we living under a rock and seeing this video for the first time? I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit that subscribe button below now so you never miss another sit down video. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome in. It's Tuesday evening. It's 9 o'clock or a little after 9 o'clock. And we got some mob news. There's a new Gotti documentary. Yet another Gotti documentary is out, and it is currently on Netflix. I'm going to talk about it. What was good about it? What wasn't good about it? What did I like and not like about it? What did you think about it? We'll get to all that in just a second. If you haven't, and look, I know it's not about the mafia, so I'm sure it won't get watched as much, but I did an awesome episode today on the corrupt Baltimore gun trace task force, a group of officers that were arrested after they were extorting citizens, stealing from citizens, selling drugs, etc. Go check that out on my channel. Check it out. Give it a couple of minutes of a listen. I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll like it. Also, if you'd like to support the channel further, please right now send in a super chat while we're on live. It goes a long way here on the channel. Already 125 people in here. Welcome in. Thank you all for watching. All right, let's start up at the top. And as customary on the lives, we're going to say hi to some folks because I like to give back to my listeners. I like to say hello, and I like to make them feel like they're wanted here. Richie Bello, because they are wanted. Richie Bello, hi. What's up, Richie Bello? Jared Sanders. I knew a lot of this, but I didn't realize the government basically killed Willie Boy Johnson. Yes, Diane Jack alone did that. And she was featured in that documentary. Vinny, what's up? Yo Mama says hardly any new information. I'm going to get to that. I'm doing well. How are you? What's going on, Big Tasty? Yes, he was. He was definitely an entertaining individual. Absolutely. It was the golden era of the mob right up until 1987. Well, I would say it was a little bit longer than that. Who is the woman that labeled Gotti associate? Seems like to me she was pretending to be someone she's not. Any info would be appreciated. As always, thanks for the content. Well, Paul Trent Acosta, you've come to the right place because we are going to talk about who that woman is. Sorry, I got some chapstick. We're going to talk about who Andrea Giovino is. Bear with me for just a second. Melinda, what's up? How are you? Nick Raber, what's going on? Machiavelli says, how is Lohman going to say he had an early preview and then put out a review on it? What a rod. Well, look, he didn't have an early preview to anything. No one had an early preview to anything. But I will say this, RJ Roger and I were going to go to the premiere of this tonight up on Clinton Street in Manhattan. We were invited, and we were going to go. I even got a tux for it, but RJ's sick, so we weren't able to go. Which kind of sucked because it would have been cool to go, but you can't go if you're sick. So I understand. RJ, travels around. He's always doing meet and greets and stuff. Got a little sick, so we weren't able to go. I was looking forward to going though. I thought that would have been pretty cool, him and I up there. But look, I don't know if you had an early preview. Why didn't you put a video? I feel like I would have put a video out before that, but who knows with him? I really don't care about him. He's irrelevant to me. Scott Dunn, what's going on, Scott Dunn? How are you? Just watched the first two episodes. Pretty good so far. Says Cujo Persico. What's up, that one guy? How are you? Harmontown, been waiting for this. What's going on, bro? Vinny, what's happening? Noah Jones, what's going on, Noah? Jake Hannon says, how's it going? I'm doing well, Jake. How are you? John Pisano says, you were late. Well, sue me. I was on the phone. Sorry, I'm not always absolutely on time, John. Sometimes people call me. Puppet Master, what's going on, Puppet Master? Bong Funk MC, good day, Jeff. What's up? Edward Everett, what's up, Edward Everett? We're not making a Western here. Settle down, Finnerty. When selling wolf tickets goes wrong. Yizzo, what's up, dude? Brian Garrett says nothing new. All right, well, let's get into it. We'll get to some pleasantries a little bit later, but I want to talk about this documentary because um, I want to first say, look, all the people that are in here right now, right? We have almost 200 people in here. Me, everybody that is in these chats and on these shows, we all know a lot of this stuff about John Gotti. Okay, we all do. Okay, but we are not normal. Okay, most people don't know who John Gotti really is. In fact, a lot of people don't know who John Gotti really is. We guys, again, are a major and a very small minority, right? Like, if there are 330 million people in this country currently, maybe 100,000 care about the mafia like we do. We're very small. So when people say, "Oh, just another Gotti documentary," it's like, well, yeah, because again, a lot of people are going to watch this, okay? And a lot of people don't know who John Gotti is. And what do we know about the John Gotti documentaries? Let's ask ourselves and let's rewind on the John Gotti documentaries. The Gotti 96 movie was not a documentary, okay? It was a animated kind of look into the life of him, good acting jobs. Some of the stuff was incorrect, and it was done in 1996. The other Gotti film was a complete and utter disaster. The documentaries they've done were awful. What documentaries have they really done about John Gotti? Like, that were actually only about John Gotti. And I'm talking about documentaries. Fear City, that wasn't a documentary about John Gotti. And in all due respect, if the family puts it out, I've said before, I don't believe anything that is done by the people themselves or the families of people. Because it's always, I think, going to be done a certain way. But when we look at this, a lot of people are going to say, I knew all this stuff. We know a lot of this stuff. Like, we know John Gotti went to prison for his role in the McBratney killing. We know that John was made in the 70s. Like, we know a lot of this stuff already. However, in the first episode, and I consider myself someone, I probably know everything there is to know about John Gotti, other than knowing the guy myself, which I didn't, obviously. But I feel like I have a good gauge on the guy, right? The mythical figure. I heard wiretaps I never heard of John Gotti, ever. And if you said you've heard them, you're lying, because no one's heard them. We've heard the same 4 or 5 wiretaps. I mean, John Gotti will sever your motherfucking head off. We've heard that. 5, 10 years from now, we've heard those. There's going to be Cosa Nostra. We've heard all that. I heard stuff in this that I've never heard before. So they did a good job of doing that. I will say. Now, one thing I didn't like, it's the same crew of characters that we always see in these films. The George Gabriels, the Bruce Maus, the Eric Shawns, the same people. Now, I will say, Giovino, a lot of people are asking about who Andrea Giovino is. From what I understand, she's involved in this show from a production standpoint. Now, for anyone that doesn't know who Andrea Giovino is, I'm going to show you her. This is Andrea. This is her a few years ago. This is Andrea and her daughter, Brittany Fogarty. You may recognize Brittany Fogarty on the right. She was actually in Mob Wives for one season. Brittany is the daughter of John Fogarty. John Fogarty married Andrea. It was the third major mob associate or mob-related relationship that Andrea was in. Andrea grew up in Brooklyn. She was with, at one point, Frankie Lino. She had moved in with Frankie Lino. He was like 25 years older than her. She had a relationship with Frank Lino for a while, I believe in the 80s or 70s into the 80s. She would then date Mark Ryder, who was very close to John Gotti as well. According to her, she met Mark Ryder with John Gotti one night at a nightclub. And that's how she became an associate of Mr. Gotti. Now, obviously, one of the things that I found kind of odd about the documentary is she kept referring to John Gotti as us, right? Like, it was almost like she was trying to sell that she was in the mafia, which didn't really make a lot of sense to me. I guess she's talking about her association with Mr. Gotti. Now, obviously, we know that Mr. Gotti had, many friends, both female and male. We know he attracted women. Like we all know that. Like that's no secret. But Giovino, look, I don't know. I'm always skeptical, and this is all due respect. I'm always skeptical to listen to like women that were involved with Gotti in some way, like whether they were friends or not. Because it's like you weren't sitting in the Ravenite Social Club listening to him speak. Like you weren't at the Bergen. Like I guess I just didn't understand the point of her per se in this show, other than just like how he was in like nightclubs and like I guess he answered what it was like in the 80s and what John meant to like the media. Like I get that, I guess, but I don't really understand what she offered to like the plot because she didn't know anything, right? It would be like going to like John Gotti's wife and being like, "Hey, what happened with Joe Butch today?" Like, how would she know? It's like she wasn't around John at the Bergen and Ravenite, right? It's same with this woman. Like, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. But whatever. Another thing, look, I like Ruggiano. Okay, we've had him on this show. Do I believe he knew John Sr.? I definitely think he met John Sr., surely. I mean, he was close to, his Fat Andy's son, right? I'm sure he met him at some point. Do I understand why he was on the show? No, because I don't believe he was around him regularly either, right? Look, I definitely think like he had certain run-ins, like the car story where he like bought him a car, like that probably happened, right? But like I don't it's like involving A-Light with this stuff. John A-Light was not in like big meetings. Like like I guess he knew him, so I guess he's further ahead than like us, but I don't know. And Polizzi, Sal Polizzi, like we're still involving him in documentaries. I mean, what are we doing here? Like he wasn't around John Gotti in the 80s. He wasn't even anywhere near him. He may have met him once. But like I think the casting for the show was not good. Here's what they should have done. They should have got Mikey Scars to do it. Like if anybody is on the internet right now that knew him, it's him. You're not going to have Gravano on. Why not Mikey Scars? Like, I didn't understand that at all. Like, have people that knew him. Look, I know people don't like Louis Cashman, but like Louis Cashman knew John Gotti quite well. Like, he was like his adoptive son. Have him on for Christ's sakes if you're going to have anyone. Look, again, I like Ruggiano. I didn't think he was right for this per se. I guess I can understand him more than anyone else. But Polisi, I don't get him at all. I don't know why he's on anything. He made himself out to be Pablo Escobar in this show as well. I was a huge drug dealer. It's like, okay. And the girl, the woman, Giovino, nice lady. Here's the thing about Giovino, and I think what they tried to put her in as is she knew these people insularly, right? And through her insular connections to Lino and Mark Ryder, she knew John Gotti. But again, when you're talking about getting Gotti, she didn't get Gotti. She also didn't have any relationship with him in the street either. So I don't know. I mean, even get people from other families, even that knew John. It's like I don't know. I felt like that was kind of weird. And a lot of the stories we've heard. But again, you have to put yourself in the thought of what is going to make money for Netflix. And a lot of people, remember, this mob genre we're in are very catty. They think everything's about them. And it's like, yeah, no, this isn't about you. Netflix is not adhering to what you want. They know you know all this. They're not doing it for you to watch. They're doing it for John and Sue Smith in Omaha, Nebraska, who watch Goodfellas and think, oh, the mafia, that's kind of cool. I like true crime. I'm going to watch this. So what do? Look at that. Look at that. I mean, who wouldn't want to watch that? Got the pink lettering with the New York in the background. You got the swaggering Gotti. You got the body outside the car. I mean, it's very, it's very typical, right? And it's flashing up. If you look at Netflix, this is the first thing you see when you open up Netflix. So, look, what do we know? And what did Junior say about his father? When their name was featured in the paper, sales went up 10%. I mean, That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make money. They're trying to make money. That's why they do a Gotti documentary. And again, I'll ask, where has there been a true documentary about John Gotti? Other than like mobsters, which how long ago was that? And not for nothing, I've never seen Jack alone speak. I thought that was pretty cool. I've never heard her speak. Now, do I think she should be featured? No, she's not a good person. But I've never heard some of the wiretaps they played. I think if you are a mob fan, you like the history, you should absolutely watch this because you'll hear wiretaps that you didn't hear before, guaranteed. Like stuff about John Gotti that like no one would ever hear. Like you hear him talking about like food and like what people cooked and stuff and like gambling. Like it's cool. Like, I've never heard that shit before. Mustache Pete says, I can't take it serious when they have a woman listed as an associate. Anything is possible, but they didn't have women involved. Yeah, but they're not talking about her as a mob associate. An associate is, see, Mustache Pete, I love you, but I think you're being a little too critical here. They're not listing her as a mob associate to John. Okay, I have a lot of associates. You have a lot of associates. I have a lot of people that, like, when I go out, I see they're associates. They're not friends. They're not family. They're associates. I would have probably referred to her more as like a Gotti friend. Saying associate, again, for us mob snobs, is going to be like, well, why she listed as an associate? She's not a mafia member. It's like, I get what you're saying, but I think they should have just said friend, right? Or like, you know, I don't know, something other than associate. Because I think you're being a bit snobby, but that's how I felt as well, Mustache, to be fair. What's up, Trader X? Don, what's going on? What's going on, Autumn? Thank you, Melinda. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting us. Alan Diaz says, what's up, Jeff? What's going on, Alan Diaz? How you doing tonight? Sorry, guys. You know, it's always funny. I sit here for an hour before the show, and no one bothers me. Then as soon as I go live, I hear people texting me. Jeff is the man. Can we get some merch? Trying to reference something. Yeah, soon, bro. Soon. Tommy Gun, what's going on? Tommy Gun. Leo, what's happening? What's happening? What did you guys think of the show? Get Gotti. Have I done anything on Jimmy, Ida, or Buster Ardito? No, not full shows on them. I've mentioned them, but I haven't brought them up. Full shows, no. Seretti, what's up? Thank you, Michael Duffy. Appreciate that. If anybody would like to donate to the channel, feel free to send in a super chat. Always appreciate anybody that goes a step further. Robert Heinitz, good evening. What's going on? What's going on? Stan Stevens says Fiji water is too thick. Then don't drink it. I like it. What do I care? It's water. What do you mean it's too thick? It's water. What the hell are you talking about? Water's too thick. What? Anthony Farisi, what's going on? What's going on? What did they mean? They had 90 seconds of listening before they have to stop. Okay, so that's a good question. So when you are sitting on a wiretap, you have to you have 90 seconds to listen. If the 90 seconds is not pertinent, which means it's not relating to criminal activity, you have to hang up for a certain period of time. You can't just sit there and listen to hours on hours of conversation because then you're starting to basically stalk someone. You can't listen to conversations, they're not pertinent. So you have to hang up after a certain period of time. Now, if a conversation is deemed pertinent, then you can listen for however long. But like if you, Jesse Roth, are wiretapping someone as a, let's say, an FBI agent, and they're sitting there talking to their, girlfriend about, what they're gonna have for dinner for 3 minutes, you technically can't listen to that. Jake Cannon, what's going on? And by the way, if you remember in the documentary, they mentioned that after a while they realized all they were talking about was gambling and food and parties and shit. so they just deemed it not important to listen anymore. Lucy, what's happening? I just tuned in. What's up, Better Times? What's going on, Big Mess? How are you? Only watched the first so far. Had the same question about the blonde. Good to see you. What did you think of Sal and Anthony? I don't understand why Sal Polisi is in that. I don't get that. I don't understand why he's involved with anything involving the mob. As far as Ruggiano, I think he was like the most normal in it. I mean, I think he definitely knew John, but was he in on like insular meetings and stuff? No, I don't think he was. Um, I think if you're going to do a documentary of this level, you should get like Mikey Scars. Like again, whether or not you like Mikey Scars or not, which I'm not sure why you wouldn't, because he's a nice guy. He's as close to John Gotti as you can get, or was as close to John Gotti as you can get. By the way, why not just get Junior? He would do it. That's the thing about Junior that I don't understand. So if Junior comes out and talks about this, the thought from the family would be this sucked. That's what they'll say. I'm sure Junior was asked to do this and he declined. They always decline everything. It's like, well, why don't you go on it? I think Junior would be awesome on that. Like that would have been so interesting. Like, what did because he's done this a documentary before about the family. I think this would have been interesting. But you run into he doesn't want to do stuff with this person and that person, and it's like I don't know. It just it gets irritating after a while, I guess. Paul Cranfield, what's going on? My first live, good stuff. What's up, Paul? How are you, man? How are you? It's on Netflix. Miss Can't Be Wrong. How are you? Football as well. Gene Grant, degenerate gambler. Yeah, he definitely enjoyed gambling for sure. Bangkok Bowler says, I'm on a holiday in Casablanca, Morocco. I've not watched it. Was it worth a view? Yeah, I've liked it so far. I mean, are you going to learn like groundbreaking things on John Sr.? No, I think a lot of people in this chat probably know a lot of the stuff, but there's stuff that even I have never heard before in it. So I feel like if I'm telling you that, and also like some people, like I'm sure people will say, well, it's all about the government's thought. It's like, what other view do you want from it? Like, no one cares enough about John Gotti other than the people that persecuted him. Like most citizens don't care about the mafia. Like they may watch the films and stuff, but like this is not going to be as popular as, you know, I don't know, like these true crime documentaries, like the Stephen Avery documentary. What was that called? Like the Murdaugh one. Like, this isn't going to be as popular because, like, whether or not people want to admit it, is the mafia, the real life mafia, is not as interesting as like the films, and that's how most people think. What's up, Benny Diova? How are you? How are you? How are you? My only question is, what more can be said, really? But again, I'm just and Miss can't be wrong. I'm not attacking you here. I'm just attacking anybody that says this. You have to understand, we know this stuff again, but this is not two people like us. They're trying to, and this is why I do shows that I do. When I interviewed Sammy Gravano, he didn't tell me anything I didn't already know. My goal was to try to get people that don't really know that much about the mob to watch it. That was the goal. And on a big level, such as Netflix, Miss Can't Be Wrong, that's what they're trying to do. What's going on, Joe Root? Joey Frakes, what's up? I don't agree with that. I thought it was all right. Mitko Rostevsky says, you're a joke. You need to learn how to use the right grammar and spelling and punctuation. Your is spelled YOU''re. Dumb fuck. If you're going to troll, at least do it correctly. At least spell correctly. But judging by your name, you live in fucking some Slavic country somewhere, and you don't fucking understand anything from the English language. So do me a favor, Mitko, fuck off, okay? Please go away. Carlos Saya, what's up, Carlos? What's going on? I watched the show as soon as it dropped at 3 a.m. Wow, David Prez, you are you're a you're a what's the word I'm looking for? You're a dedicated individual to mob content. Adam Shacker was Southern Rob one of the talking heads. No, he was not. He was not. B Gagliano says everything you say is alley. Everything you say is alley. Another dumbass that can't spell or use correct punctuation. You ever notice these trolls are the dumbest fucking people on the planet? Like they literally can't even type a sentence correctly. Like they're that fucking stupid. It's amazing. Like they literally and this is why they've wasted their life doing what they do because they have no other redeemable qualities. Like they come on here, type something out, and think, oh my god, that's so funny. It's like it doesn't even fucking make sense. What's up, no freaking ZD now? B. Gagliano has something else to say. He says, if you have these so-called never before heard tapes of John Gotti, play them now. B. Gagliano, listen, instead of trolling or attempting to be funny, you should do me a favor. Go back to like 6th grade. Because, dude, you are a fucking ignoramus, bro. Seriously. This is now 2 sentences that you have ineptly not been able to type out. But stop drinking. It's only 9:35 on a Tuesday. Save some for the rest of us, please. Just do yourself a favor. Go in your room, go to bed. Okay, please. It's time for bed, bro. Seriously. You're sounding like an imbecile. Anyone else think that the middleman Don Shiro from Gamora looks like Carmine Persika? Yes, yes, he does actually, Nick. That's a good call. Dead ringer. I agree with you, Nick. I agree with you. Okay, B. Gagliano with a third sentence. Let's read what he has here. He never met him. The time doesn't make sense of his age. How do you have 3 straight sentences that none of them make sense? This is amazing, B. Gagliano. Are you really this dumb? I mean, really? This is amazing. You're like a prehistoric fucking Neanderthal. You can't type anything correctly. You got a period, like, bro, put the fucking booze down, man. Every drug deal in every documentary is the biggest kingpin of all time. Right, which it's interesting because Mark Ryder, who I talked about, was actually a fucking huge kingpin. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Now I'm gonna have to get Netflix. I think you definitely should. I think you definitely should. Ricky Deal says, "What did you think of the documentary?" Well, I've been talking about the documentary for the last 30 minutes or so. Um, Again, I think this is probably the wrong place to do a review on this because it's like everyone on here is going to say the same thing. I knew all this stuff, and it's like again, it's not based for you because again, remember, you're going to watch it. All of you people that want to shit on this thing will all watch it. Just like a lot of the people that hate me all watch my videos. So it worked. That's the goal. A boycott. Do you know what a boycott is? Let me read you the definition of what a boycott means. The definition of boycott, according to Oxford Languages, is a punitive ban that forbids relations with certain groups, cooperation with a policy, or the handling of goods. Now, as a verb, you withdraw from commercial or social relations with a country, organization, or person as a punishment of protest. So, boycott. So, when you say you hate this and you don't want to watch it and you all know all this stuff, it worked because you all watched it. Boycotting it would mean you don't watch it. I never knew that the lawyer basically killed Willie Boy. I definitely did know that. Now, there's one thing I did not know that I found out in the first episode. I never knew. They basically made it seem that John Gotti had people break the arm of Romuald Pajcik. I never knew that. They said they found him in, quote, a hospital. Who else would have did that? I never knew that. We always saw Pychik like forget and like in be an arm sleep, but I never really thought about it. Like, did they actually like attack him? And we don't know if they did, but it would seem that they did because he all of a sudden had deja vu and forgot everything. What's going on, PJ? Hello from British Columbia. What's up, Craig Tracy? They should have put old interviews in the show. What interview? John Gotti didn't do interviews. I mean, he said like a few lines and like to the news, but like he didn't like sit down and do interviews. Luigi Capasso says 3:30 in Italia. I'm watching your show. What's up, Kujin? Thank you for watching, Luigi. I appreciate that. B Gagliano's back. He says, "Stop deleting my shit, you fat Metzafanuke." Finally, finally, actually a funny thing you've said. We haven't deleted anything. We've actually read all of your idiotic comments. You fat Mezzafanuke. That's actually funny, B Gagliano. You're starting to be kind of funny. Jeff, I just found here on YouTube a 1987 Geraldo Rivera special called Son's Scarface. It shows John Gotti. Yeah, he went up to John Gotti and tried to talk to him. And they told him to get away from Gotti. Mikey Scars ain't doing it. I don't know if he wouldn't do it, but he should have. He would have been very needed on this. I watched the show. Why do you think Ruggiano wasn't relevant? I didn't say he wasn't relevant. I said I don't think he was around the big important meetings. Did he definitely meet Gotti? Sure. I mean, did he have conversations? Probably. Like, I like Anthony. I think he's one of the nicest people on here. I just feel like if it were between him and like Junior or Mikey Scars, I would have picked them. The problem is, like, I do understand though, like these documentaries, like they only have so many people that they can, pick. Hold on a second, guys. What do you do? What's up, love? What do you do? All right, sorry guys. Jason Who says best podcast on YouTube right here. Thank you, Jason Who. That's very nice of you. I don't know if we're the best, but I appreciate it. I can't stand Polisi, but all in all, it's definitely entertaining. Yeah, surely. All right, B Gagliano, take it easy, man. Have a good night. We had fun with you for a little, but now you're just getting like annoying. Now that Joey Molina has a podcast, do you think he would come on my show? You'd have to ask him. The mob didn't catch on with the box being that close. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. It seems like most people are liking it so far. What's up, Joey Pope? Jeff, Netflix gives you the green light to do a doc on any gangster. Who are you picking? Wow. Probably Joey Messino or Joey Molino, probably. Mikey Scars would have definitely been a way better choice for casting. Yes, absolutely. What's going on, Lav? Phillies are not losing. Unbelievable. They can't keep a lead tonight. Sweat Equity 3000. What's going on? What's going on? Jeff, how's it going? You're funny as fuck. Really enjoy the content. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Everett Sanchez. People are enjoying the making fun of that dumbass that was in here. Thank you. Thank you, Joey Pope. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Maybe Gotti had decent intentions, wanting it old school, but not catching up at the time. Feds, tech, more informants, etc. Well, I mean, but then again, a lot of people didn't do that. Like, I don't know. I've said before, like, I think John Gotti was like way smarter than they give him credit for. Like, super smart. He understood like having to be a pragmatist at times, making the old guard happy. I mean, he wasn't the only gangster to ever talk. I think there are 3 parts. Well, that's nice, you Tilly. Thank you. Edward Arnold says, when you talk, it's more clear. Your brain is the size of a peanut. How is your head so big? Yet here you are watching. Thank you, Edward. Edward, I think the FBI should look into your photos. Is that you laying with a bunch of stuffed animals? Bit creepy, don't you think? What are you, 70 years old, laying with a bunch of stuffed animals, bro? Come on, man. I think you should maybe be looked at by certain people. You fucking lunatic. But hey, thanks for watching. Jeff's ability to shame these trolls and come up with clever responses is unmatched. I hope people troll sometimes just so I can see him put a piece of work on them. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. Thank you, Bangkok Bowler. Mitko says, I was talking to someone else in the chat. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. You were talking to me. You were talking to me. And then I fucking destroyed you, and now you're trying to cower. I didn't say it. You did, motherfucker. You said it. We heard it. Tearing into these knuckleheads is hilarious. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Glad you enjoy it. LEC, I follow you as well. I learned a lot. Thanks. Thank you, LEC. I'm glad you're enjoying your things. D. Johns. What's going on, D. Johns? Yeah, that's true. Surprising he doesn't. Bull Buck says, even us Oregon loggers can spell. Thank you for your outstanding content. I'm glad to hear that, Bull Buck. Yeah, it's fun. Some of them are total imbeciles. Coda Navacoda says, my G, Jeff, what's cracking? What's up, Coda? What's going on? Shout out to Moreno Valley. What up, Moreno Valley? Why was it forbidden for mobsters to eat pussy? You'd have to ask Junior Soprano. I asked Dom Sakali that. He made check out my shorts, Night Rider. He talked about that. But I don't think it was actually an actual rule. I just think you isn't something you would talk about publicly. Thank you, Jonathan. I will. That's not true. Mikey Scars was made in 1988. So that's not true. But either way, John didn't go away till the early 90s. It wasn't long, but Mikey had been around for a while. And it really wouldn't matter if he was made or not. Mikey had been around, Frankie the Chico and all those guys for years. Any channels that you recommend that we may have not heard of that have to do with mob content? No, I don't really watch any mob content other than RJ and Mikey and OC Shorts and a few others. MIT Crime Spot and Mooney Dashcam when he posts, but some of these guys don't post regularly. I watch a lot of true crime content, cartel content, a lot of that kind of stuff. What's up with all the weird fucks in here today? LMFAO. Yeah, I don't know. Would I have any rats on my show? John, where have you been the last 2 years? Have you just come across this channel? I've interviewed all sorts of people. I don't discriminate. Philly the Chicken Man Testa. What's going on, Philly? Says, what's up, Jeff? You've been putting out some great stuff. Love the recent Nikki Skins and Tommy Reynolds episodes. Well, thank you, bro. I appreciate that. I'm glad you liked it. They were enjoyable to do. Sly Guy, what's going on, Sly Guy? I'm excited to catch your live. Excited to catch your live. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Gianluca Caruso, salute from Vancouver, British Columbia. What's up, Gianluca? How are you, my friend? Good to see you. We'll have to check out the doc. Do you know where they get these unearned tapes from? Crazy they're dropping for the first time. Probably getting them from the FBI, I would think. I have no idea. Chris Poggi, are you going to continue the true crime show? They were sensational. Have you ever been asked to do a documentary? You're the best in the game. Love your content. Thank you, Chris Poggi. I have not. Actually, I was asked to do one, and I was not cleared. They didn't approve me. They said something in my past came up where they didn't like what they heard. But am I going to continue a true crime podcast? I got to tell you guys, do I think I'll be here next year this time doing mob content on YouTube? No, I won't. That's about 1,000%. Now, where I'll be doing it, You have to wait and see. We have some things planned, me and certain people. Let's just say that. But you know, for me, guys, it's every great. I'm not saying I'm a great, but every person that's a professional needs to recognize when it's time to move on. And I have achieved a lot doing this. I'm very proud of it. I just feel like it's eventually going to run its course. And I'm still going to talk about the mob. I'm still going to talk about organized crime. I'm just not going to do it on YouTube. And what we do next, I have some plans, with several other folks that all of you respect. Um, and it'll be more of like discussion things and that sort of thing. But am I going to be doing crime content? Yes. It just isn't going to be only mafia content. I love talking about the mafia, but like, guys, honestly, I would love to talk about other stuff too. Like, that's actually what I enjoy talking about. So, um, what's up, Tony Handsome? Thank you for being a member, brother. And thank you for the $10, Chris. I appreciate you being here, Tony. Knight Rider says, I love eating pussy. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. Jeff, back in the old days, we would have cracked off when we go back and forth and saw each other with the lights of your mama comments. You would have been king. Thank you, bro. I try. I think I'm pretty good at it. Nino Brown, I salute. Oh, aloha, Jeff from Oahu, Hawaii. Keep up the great work and keep running over these trolls and haters. Thank you, Nino Brown. Shout out to Hawaii in the building. Little Pink, whoop whoop from Her Majesty's Prison, Liverpool. Wow, Little Pink. You always tell me you're in an HMP, and I hope you get out soon, my friend. Shout out to you, live and direct from prison. You should do a sit down live in person. I'd buy a ticket, and come. Think you could do some cool stuff. Have you ever thought about it? Yeah, I have thought about it. I was thinking about more or less doing like some sort of meetup, like RJ does, somewhere in the New York area. If you would come, put a 1 in the chat. Pabs, what's going on, Pabs? What's going on? Yes, I recently came across your channel. Well, welcome in. Welcome in. Yes, we've interviewed all sorts of people, brother. Take a look through the channel and you'll see that. Thank you for watching, John. Correct, Frank, correct. What's up, David? Wally says, is the Russian mafia in New York real or is it just movies? It's definitely real. It's definitely real. What's up, Don Javon? I've done a video on that. Benny Ong. I've talked about that. Well, I think they're tired of talking about him for sure. I think they're tired of talking about him. A couple of ones in the chat. Beautiful. You're not going to be able to come, Little Pink. You're in prison. Have you ever considered doing content on LA gang culture? I don't think, as far as 1% motorcycle clubs, no, I wouldn't. Due to the fact that they're active in my area, so I wouldn't do that. No. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you all have a good evening. I didn't want to be on here too terribly long, but I would recommend go checking it out. I thought it was actually pretty good. Listen, like I said, you're not going to have a bunch of stuff that you've never seen before, but there were some cool wiretaps and things of that nature. So go check it out. You can find it on Netflix, and it is called Get Gotti. Go check it out now. All right, guys, I'm out of here. You get out of the big house on Friday. Well, good. Maybe you can come, Little Pink. Stay in touch with us. Stay in touch. Thank you, Ricky Deal. I appreciate that. We'll get you some more info, guys, if we do some sort of meetup for sure. But I'll let you know. Have everybody a good night. I'll see you all soon. Yeah, later.